She got a giant container of catnip for her quarantine essentials enrichment that they handed out. Yeah, it was really cute.
I was like, she didn't have a birthday. That was cool.
No, yeah. But they all got treats.
Wigwam?
Yes, he got a little teepee.
Oh, this little Turkish tower.
Isn't that adorable?
You are just the cutest little man.
All right, as soon as I see some people. All right, good morning, everybody. So this is Brittany at Big Cat Rescue in Tampa, Florida. And I am here this morning with Honey, Master Keeper Honey, and we have a feeding tour for you guys this morning. And Shiloh is very much ready and waiting. I think he's a little ticked off. He does look a little perturbed. So here's Honey. Honey's gonna be our guide this morning. You guys remember Honey did a keeper tour for you guys a few weeks ago. So this morning she's now going to do a feeding tour. So we've got a good selection of different cats and species to show you this morning. We'll have a very nice finale as well. You're one ahead of yourself. So good morning to everybody who's joining. We're going to do a feeding tour this morning with Master Keeper Honey. And this is Shiloh Bobcat. We are still closed to the public due to COVID-19, so so we wanted to bring you guys.
Oh goodness, she's gonna steal my food. I'm mad about it.
So we wanted to bring you guys along so you can see kind of what a traditional feeding tour would have been like if you'd been here in person.
You're a little bit of a plate hog, sir.
He's very much a plate hog.
You're a plate hog.
So you can see that he's got a cement plate in there, which is where we drop the food in.
Sorry, bud.
And yeah, you always have to make sure you aim where you don't hit the cat. Sometimes you do hit the cat, but...
Oh, and he likes chicken.
He very much likes chicken. You guys might have seen Afton's most recent video that she did for Shiloh, and it was Shiloh, the hungry bobcat, as he does make really silly noises.
You're so big of a tail. You're so handsome. So, Shiloh came, 2 years now?
Nope, this past September.
Really? It's
yep, not even a year. We're getting closer.
So, Wildlife Way Station out in California closed down. They were another sanctuary that had about 400 animals when they closed, and needed help finding placement for all of them. And so we were able to take Shiloh and
Filmo.
I was like, I know there's somebody else.
And Mouser and Tom Tom.
Yeah, so we took 4 cats from there and gave them forever homes. People have asked for years why we don't take every single cat that we get asked to take, and one of the reasons is you can have a really big heart and not enough money, and you can't provide a home for everybody you want, and that's what happens sometimes, and that's what happened with Wildlife Way Station. Like I said, they had 400 animals. At our max, I think we had around 200 before I started, and when I started we had about 140 or 120 or so. And so you can't jeopardize the animals you already have for taking in new ones. And it's a hard decision to make, and it's tough, but when you've had cats for 10 years and you realize they might all have to go away because we've taken on too much, then that's just not fair to them. So that's why we do that. We have about 60 now, and while we're a geriatric cat home, as cats have passed, we've annexed enclosures next door and made the cats' homes much bigger. So it's actually been, it's sad, but it's also been really great for the cats to be able to get bigger and bigger homes. So we had the same amount of caging, we just had more cats. And then we built some new caging as well for certain things, like our rehab bobcat program and things like that. So he is I'm going to say he's a southern bobcat, because he's not as big and fluffy as a northern might be. I don't know his actual provenance.
In between, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know his actual provenance, and being in California, he could be either or. But we do have 3 different kinds, Florida, southern, and northern. bobcats, and those are all regional. Obviously Florida, they're native to here. So that's what we do with our rehab bobcat program. We can only release cats that are native to our area. And bobcats are native to Florida. They're native to all 49 states. Well, 48 actually. They're mainland, I guess. They're not in Hawaii, and I don't know that they're in Alaska, but theoretically they could be. It'd just be really cold. And so we can only release those. So for those of you wondering why we have tigers, we can't release them. They don't live in America. So that's why. So he is on the Clean Plate Club. You got one little crumb over here, bud. Yeah, you got the secret sauce.
He got it.
Good job. You got the secret sauce.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for the donation. We really appreciate that.
That's the best part.
100% of your donations do go to the cats, so that's super important right now with us being closed. No guided educational tours like normal. And you can see that he's only in a feeding lockout. He will, as soon as he's done licking the plate clean, he will be able to turn around and walk back out into his full cat-a-tat. He's just going to wait a few more seconds to see if she has anything else to drop in there. Was it worth the wait, bud? Thank you for being patient.
That's good stuff.
There we go. So Shiloh will come back out. Thank you, Barb, and everybody else who has just donated. And then he'll be able to utilize all of this space that he's got up here. Got to do his home tour soon. Yeah. All right, so actually we're gonna go see a cat that we don't usually get to see very much. You know, on my morning lives, we usually see him slink away. Yeah, hopefully, because he's hungry, he'll stay on video so that we can see Loki Savannah. Same deal, yeah, we might watch him more from a distance, but at least they'll get to see him. We probably won't do a ton of standing close and talking to him, but we'll make sure that you guys at least get a... He is. All right. He's actually just right over here. I'll stop here. I better not try to back up. Well, yeah. What's Loki getting today? Looks like
cut up chicken and mush.
Okay.
So, this is our ground diet. Looks kind of like hamburger, but it actually has more nutrients than anything else because it's the vital organs and some bones and things from cows and chickens and things like that. So it's their vegetables.
Yes, it is.
That's what we call it. Gotta eat your veggies.
Yep. There's the Lokesters. Hi, mister. Yeah. Hi, buddy. Don't worry, I'm going to stand back. Good job. Alright, so we'll kind of step back here and watch him for just a couple seconds. I'll zoom in for you guys. He's always nervous about going into lockout, so he eats everything on like the far edge of his plate, or he tries to drag it out with him.
Just a little worried I was going to drop something on his head.
I know.
I can understand that. So he is much smaller. So he's in a 2x4 enclosure. So it's a little bit trickier to feed. That's why I went through the top, because it's easier to drop through. Yeah, get that whole little mush ball. Good job, kid. And he actually was somebody's pet, and came to us via alert from Catman Chris, who is Cole and Marmalade's daddy. Yep. If you guys are fans of him or them, whatever. And so He came to stay here. He is a hybrid. He's a Savannah cat, which is a hybrid of a serval and a domestic kitty. And he's actually the darkest one we have. It's funny because we got Beecher, and Beecher was really dark, and I was like, wow. And then we got him, and I was like, are they just going to keep getting darker?
Just solid.
And then we got
black
Mouser, and he
hybrids.
was like nice and bright, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
A little blondie.
So they can have, you know, they can have variations, just like within species. They can have the variations of color. But yeah, he is very dark. He is very shy. You can still see he's shy. The tail is working though.
Mm-hmm.
He's interested.
Always telling me he has a raccoon tail. Because
Yeah,
it's
a
so
little bit.
perfectly
Yeah.
thick and stripy. I
Yeah.
know, bud.
There you go. Get on up there. So we do feed in the morning. One of the reasons we do that is it's a lot easier to make sure everybody's eating their food since we have a very old population. Some cats, we have to know exactly what they ate because they're picky eaters, and so we're watching them really closely. And so we weigh their food before it goes out. We feed them, we collect it back up, and we weigh it when it comes back in, so we know exactly how much they ate that day. And if Frankie's very interested too.
Yeah, we have a
And
peanut
if-
gallery over here.
And if they don't eat
pan.
everything, we can take them a snack or something and try to encourage them throughout the day.
That's
Yeah,
Frankie
got one.
Bobcat. Yeah, he already had breakfast. He's just waiting to see, like, if Loki wants to share anything.
Me too. You're close.
Mm-hmm.
I would take it. That would be awesome.
All right, guys. Well, we will clear out and let Loki enjoy the rest of his breakfast. But at least you guys got a nice little glimpse, and you kind of got to see his silly little routine. I love how he drags it off of the plate. Keep going, bud. Thank you very much to the 5 of you that have donated. So actually we're gonna go see another cat not a lot of people get to see, especially not to eat, and that is gonna be Des Serval. So we'll go see Des. Des is very special. So we're gonna go see him. We'll have to drive up a little ways. Thank you to everybody who is helping out in the comments and answering questions. Again, with Loki, we tried to keep our voices down. We backed up quite a bit because we just did not want to scare him, but we wanted to give you guys the rare opportunity to just see him because we don't usually get to see him. We're also both wearing masks, so that does make it a little more difficult. If you do have trouble ever hearing on these lives, our suggestion is to wear earbuds or headphones. We have a lot of people that insist that that is just the best way to hear everything from these lives, so thank you guys for that. Do you want me to... I guess this is where his lockout is, so yeah, we'll go this way. Okay.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I'm like, could we go around? But then we do Jinx first, so. All right. So we're gonna go see an African serval named Des. If you're not familiar with him, you're gonna notice something very unique about him right off the bat. Yes, he does have a really good attitude. Oh, 2 more people have donated. Thank you so much. I love walking back through here. There's a Nala serval.
Funny, the cubs used to be here, and so we always have to watch because it all curl up next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of play with you as you walk by. They're mischievous kids. Are you ready?
There's a Des.
Walking the wrong way, wasn't I?
There's a Des.
Ready, bud? Come on. There you go.
Yeah.
What are the most dangerous things at Big Cat Rescue?
It's just walking through the foliage.
The plants, the bugs. Eventually you get to the cats. I hear you, handsome.
So you'll see that Des has 3 legs. I'll let Honey tell you guys all about him as soon as she has the food in.
Such grumpy farts.
Yeah.
You are.
So you see also that he's a lockout cat. Not really. There's this one. This might work.
Can't flick it up.
Yeah, definitely don't want to get closer. His rope is on the opposite side there. So close. I hear you, Hutch. All right. So he also got chicken and mush. I think this will be our best side to see him.
You're actually looking pretty good, bud.
Mm-hmm. So she has to walk all the way around him and get a really good visual of him on all sides.
Nom, nom, nom.
Feeding time's the best time for us to be able to really observe the cats. See if there's anything we need to mark down for the vet. He looks good though.
So one thing you guys can kind of see with him with that chicken, yes, we hear you, nom nom nom, it's so good, is we have grinding molars, and their back teeth are kind of like mountain ranges, and they're actually made for cutting. They're called carnassials, and you see he's actually cutting pieces of the chicken to eat. He may puke it back up because he ate it really fast.
He did.
Yeah, you are, bud.
Oh, there you go.
Nope. And so he can cut a smaller piece and then swallow it, and then pick that piece back up, the leftover piece, cut it some more and swallow it. Cats do not actually chew their food. They just swallow it whole, as you can see.
Slice and swallow, slice and swallow.
Pretty much.
And he did. That was record.
That was good stuff.
That was a record time,
Oh,
bud.
my goodness. So the reason I say he's looking pretty good is because he got a little overweight. And when you have 3 legs, that makes it really tough on your leftover joints. And so we really wanted him to lose a little bit. And he's done pretty good with that. He does have mats because he can't really reach where he needs to reach. Plus he's missing a leg to scratch and do things with. So I believe somebody is doing some scratching with him. The other thing is he was found in Arizona on the side of the road, dehydrated and everything, and got rescued by a center out there and then looked for a permanent home for him. We did discover that his leg was amputated surgically when Dr. Justin was looking at him. We had a naming contest. Lots of people put in Tripod. We did not name him Tripod.
No.
Originally his name was Desiree, and then we discovered he was a boy, so we changed it to just Des. And or Desi. And then so we figured it was either surgically taken off or he lost it later in life, not as a kitten, because of how he moved. If he had lost it when he was younger, he would move a lot more, not cleanly, what's flowing?
Fluidly,
I guess. Fluidly,
yeah.
yes, thank you. That's the right number. Flowing, that's not right. But yeah, so but he's adapted really well. He shifts that weight. You can see he's kind of, he's got that foot centered in the back. But it is tough on his other joints, so we do have to make sure. Plus they're in captivity. They're not really running around a lot. He does catch lizards and things like that, you know. And he is a little special in that he can have an open air enclosure. He's the only small cat that can, because he can't climb with that lost limb. So otherwise he'd have to be in a roofed enclosure as well. He does have a roof section, just like all of our open air enclosures. So when we have really nasty storms or really high winds or something like that, we can lock him in his roofed section, which has a den and a place for water and a place to be fed. So if we had hurricanes, which we're in hurricane season now in 2020, you just don't. You just don't. It's enough.
Exactly.
We're done.
Exactly. Good job, Des. Are you clean plate president today? My goodness.
You guys can hear how rough his tongue is on that tray.
My goodness. And I will say he is surprisingly fast on 3 legs.
Oh, yeah.
I've pulled up with in the evening with the meds cart, and I've seen him over here by this lockout.
And then
Before I even get off the cart,
Oh, yeah.
he is all the way across the cage on the side, ready and waiting. So
Old cats that you're like, oh no, then they're like, poof, right there, and you're like, how did you do that?
good job, Des. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
We even got the little nom nom noise in.
We did.
It's very exciting.
Oh, and a little squeak. That was very nice. Was that your thank you?
You did good with having to wait a little extra too. Sorry about your
Yeah.
butter.
I know.
It's just, you know.
Good job. now he's sassing. Okay, we're gonna go. Yeah, exactly. All right, so if you guys have just joined, we're following Honey on a feeding tour this morning. Oh, there's Miss Marianne. There's a Marianne bobcat. You've already had breakfast, though. So we've already seen Shiloh bobcat and Loki the Savannah cat, and then we just finished up with Des and African serval. Now we're gonna go get into the big guys. No, she's never impressed. I'm here. I'm like the one person she just does not like unless I have food.
Pharaoh. Pharaoh hates me.
Aww.
Her official name is Pharaoh, who hates me.
Oh, that's so sad. That is very sad.
I woke up with Jamie, purr at her, and then Halloween kitty at me, and I'm just like, dude.
Oh, that's rough. That's so funny. All right, so we're gonna head into some of our larger cats now. So we are gonna go see Jinx.
Oh, there's a yellow jacket under that one. That's one.
Oh.
You might see. Make sure the yellow jacket doesn't get me.
All right, so we'll go see Jinx, our black leopard, and probably see Manny on the way by maybe, unless he's already retired to his den. I'm sure you guys have been glued, just like the rest of us, to the new Funcation camera. So Jinx was out there previously, and then as soon as we moved Manny out there, about a week into his vacation, they installed his camera. It's live 24/7.
It's not technically his.
Right now it's his. Oh, there he is in front of his den.
Hi, handsome.
Thank you guys very much for all these donations this morning. Here's Manny. So you can find his camera if you go to bigcatcams.com. There's a list of every live camera that we have, and Funcation is now the first one on that list. And you will see,
the most popular, right?
Yeah, I would say so. You'll see Manny for at least the next week and a half. I don't know, maybe 2 more weeks. I've lost track. I think so. Oh, he's a running too. He's a running to see what Honey has.
So, this is getting some bone. He's getting some chicken thighs.
Nice. So we'll be able to
red as well.
Okay.
As long as his vegetables, his mush.
Yes, okay. Well, good. Then we should be able to hear some crunching for the first time today. Yeah, Manny's chasing anybody with a golf cart. So again, you guys can watch that live at bigcatcams.com.
Where is my class?
He's probably so mad.
Oh, I see him. I am trying to be a small rock formation.
He is very good at it. I don't see him, but maybe you guys see him. Hi, Papa. I'm sorry. That purring you hear is not Jinx. It is this motor mouth back here. Aries has shown up. Is there anything extra? Gonna get some water. Aries getting some water. So Honey's getting Jinx's diet in there. Whoa. Guess that's what we have to do. We have to make him wait a little longer.
I need your face over here, sir.
There you go. Good job.
Good boy. Oh. Yay, wet hands. Munch. We're being serenaded in the background.
We sure are. They can all hear him too. That's why I was like, it's not Jinx purring. It's
I thought it
this
was him
guy.
at first, and
No,
I was like, oh no, that's Aries.
It's Aries.
You're so silly.
Aries is hopeful that you'll share.
So you see how easily that drum just disappeared?
Yeah.
That's why we don't stick our hands in their cages. We like all of our appendages.
Yeah. Very much like having hands and arms. As they really can't tell the difference. I mean, if you're going to try to hand them some food like that, or even just petting them and they're feeling feisty, your hand looks exactly like that chicken drum.
Especially when it's a whole chicken leg, a chicken quarter. Your hand really looks like that.
Yeah.
Your hand is warmer.
True, true.
I know, you're doing so good. Yum, yum. Eat up, bud.
You ate your favorite part first.
Of course. That's what we all do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Jinx actually was one of our witness protection kitties for quite a long time. 4 years he was in the first group that we really did witness protection, and so that meant he was seized by another state, and then he came to stay with us while his court case and everything else was going on. So yes, he was on the tour path, and we could talk about him on tours in the fact that he's a black leopard and what that species entails and all that kind of stuff. We could not tell his individual story or the other 3 cats that came with him, and that was a little over 4 years. And then right before my birthday, which is the best, we got word that he was ours permanently, and so that was the best birthday present I could possibly get. And so now he's here. We tell his whole story. He was up in Ohio with a gentleman who had a pseudo sanctuary where he actually had people come and take their pictures with the cats and interact with them and things like that. And so he got shut down for violations with USDA, and so Ohio Department of Agriculture seized the animals. They actually, after Zanesville, Ohio, which was a horrible incident where a gentleman cut all the doors off of his enclosures. He had about 56 animals, all different species, and then killed himself so that nobody else could have them. And then law enforcement had to spend the entire night killing all of these animals because they couldn't dart them, because it could take up to 45 minutes for that to take effect, and they were within miles of schools and things like that, so that's what they had to do. The best write-up I've ever found was actually on Gentleman's Quarterly, GQ.com. I don't know if it's still up, but it's a really good read. It's several pages, but it's a really good read. And so Ohio, pretty much the next day, kind of changed their laws. Not quite, but close. And so they made their restrictions and enforcement better, and so they built this facility to take animals, but they can't keep them there indefinitely. So they've started looking for sanctuaries that would partner with them. And so we said, yeah, sure, we'd love to do that. And we did, and so these guys got saved, and went all the way to the Ohio Supreme Court, his case, and the court finally said, no, you had plenty of time to register and license and do everything you needed to do, and you just said, I'm not doing that, so you don't get your animals back. So 3 different facilities took animals. He did have bears and things like that, so we don't do bears, so we didn't take that. I think lions, tigers, and bears took his bears. And so we housed these guys, fed them everything, paid for everything for 4 years, which is, it's a risky business. What if they had not, still been ours? We, fell in love with them immediately. So it's really hard to do, but we know it's what's best for the animals. So that's why we do that. And you might be able to see, good boy. Don't drop it. I know it's got grass on it now. Well, you put it in the dirt, silly. You are such a nut.
He is so goofy.
You might be able to see his spots in the sun a little bit.
I might be able to.
He is spotted just like a golden leopard. And they do go all the way down to their skin. Tiger stripes do the same thing, so it's actually kind of tattooed on the skin. It's also where the saying, a leopard can't change its spots, came from, because they definitely can't. You guys might see him on lives and in stills and things like that, and he's got these little white kind of stripes on his toes where his claws should be. He is declawed, but for some reason the pigment in his fur has just died right around there. It could be because of how he was declawed, which probably was not the best way. And it actually became illegal in, I believe, 2006 to declaw a big cat. So any of them that have been declawed after that have been done so illegally. Yeah. And sometimes people do it themselves. So I will leave you to your imagination as to how that happens.
Ugh, yeah.
It makes me sad.
It makes me really sad. I couldn't tell if you were going to play or if you were going to lay down. All right, one last beautiful view of this boy. So again, this was Jinx. If you guys ever want to read the back information of any of these cats, we have a whole page on our website, bigcatrescue.org/catbio. And that's where you're gonna find the link to every single resident that lives here.
He's one of my favorites, my absolute favorite past, and so I've replaced him with like 4 cats.
Right, yes, that's I think the only way to do it.
But I get my sign soon and it's going right here.
Oh, good. That's exciting.
Lauren's like, I have your sign. I was like, okay, let's go put it up. She goes, I have to drill holes.
All right, guys, so next we are gonna see our first of 2 tigers. So we're gonna go see Simba tiger have breakfast, and I guarantee he's gonna have something to say about having to wait.
Not as much as Kimba would.
No, that's true. He's definitely very vocal of the 3 when it comes to food.
Well, I also figured we didn't have to cross the bridge to get to him, so
yeah.
I paid the troll and everything else.
All right.
She's on mission.
So we are gonna head over and see Simba. Thank you very much to the 9 of you that have donated so far, everybody who's sharing this to help us reach new people. We really appreciate you guys tuning in for these virtual keeper tours and feeding tours on Sundays. Just trying to make up a little bit for the fact that we used to do this every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh, he's chilling out.
Hey, Finn.
We didn't forget, Bud, we're here. And so we really enjoy seeing how much you guys enjoy this. All right. We're here. Room service is late, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. So he has like 15 pounds worth of food.
A lot more food. Big, huge chunks of red.
Ooh, and lots of chicken drums too, so we'll hear some more crunching. Come on, you know the drill. You gotta run all the way around. Yes, it does. So it takes a little bit longer to get all the food in. You'll see, I'll show you guys, Simba is able to walk from the enclosure section that he's in all the way around. He's gonna see if he can reach her from there. He can't, so he'll go through that tunnel into this other section. Then there's another door. And now he is over by his feeding lockout. She's getting it. She's getting it. You're such a good boy. So once she gets all the food in and we have opened the door, and we'll give him a second to get into eating, and then she can tell you guys all about Simba tiger. Hey, let's not lift doors. So again, his lockout door was down so that she could safely get the food in. Now she'll have to lift the door. Susan, all 3 of the boys still get periodic limps. It doesn't go away. I'm guessing, in my opinion, that's the fact that they grew up in circus wagons and small transport cages for 10 years. So I think they're all gonna have some limping. Yeah, as soon as you try to get your bucket. Whoop. Oh, yeah, you don't want to eat and roar.
You can't eat that fast, bud.
There you go. Go slower. You gotta come back out.
You're all right.
He wants to roar at us real bad.
Easy.
There you go. You gotta chew it, bud.
A little bit anyway.
Yeah. So her and I are gonna step back. We had to make sure he was gonna get that back out. And I'll zoom in from here. There we go. So Simba tiger Good job.
Okay,
You did good.
we're just watching you.
Did you guys see how big that piece was? They just, like she mentioned earlier, they slice and swallow, but when they're growling and they're aggressive, they're also known to just try to swallow it quickly so they can roar at you. But he's still new here, still learning the ropes. Nope, you can't do a Heimlich, but they usually always get it back out. You just have to give them space. Simba is definitely the most protective of his food out of the three, even though Kimba is actually the scariest of all three. At any given moment, he's actually the most intensely aggressive with food. I work with all three of them for operant conditioning. As the committee members, we've decided to just get them used to it by only 3 of us. And so out of the 3 of them, he is actually the one that's still the most nervous, the one that jumps the most, the one that is just so panicked about getting food, versus the other 2 that are a lot more submissive. So it's just going to take time for them to settle in.
Well, my guess is he's the dominant of the 3,
Mm-hmm.
and he was probably treated the least well in the circus because of that.
Mm-hmm.
He probably didn't want to cooperate.
Right.
And so he's still, afraid that cats seem to have memories like elephants, and dogs seem to have memories like flies, like none at all. Because dogs have that incredible capacity to just be in the moment. Cats hold grudges, trust me.
Yeah.
If you've ever gone on vacation and your cat wouldn't talk to you for a week after you got home, or you went to the vet and the cat wouldn't, be nice or calm or anything for like a week, yeah, they hold grudges.
Yeah.
So multiply that by about 100 with a big cat. Yeah, you gotta chew it into pieces, kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you can see he's putting it to those back teeth. So the canines are for killing. See how he's cutting it as he goes, and so it just kind of falls off. And then the canines are for killing. You may see him pick it up and shake it. He's making sure it's dead. They're gonna grab their prey generally by the back of the neck. Those canines kind of pierce through the spine, and then you shake it and it's pretty much dead. So that's really, it's an instinct. That's why they do that.
The other thing that's interesting out of the 3 of them is he's the only one that is front paw declawed, and the other 2 aren't. So I wonder if he's got even more aggressive. Yep, because of that. So
I bet that's why. That's part of the issue with rescue of any kind. You don't know all of their history. You might get some sort of provenance, but you weren't there. You didn't see what happened 24/7 before the cat came to you or whatever animal came to you. And so
yeah,
definitely, causes some issues. But again, we treat everybody like they're clawed, and that way we're just safer.
absolutely.
And don't think just because they're not clawed, they aren't strong. They are. If you've ever tried to pill a house cat, a little 10-pound house cat, you know how strong they are. So when we pill our cats, we use meat on the end of a stick. And usually some of the older ones get wise and they try to chew it out, and it's frustrating, so you have to give them a fake piece first, and then they try to chew it out of that piece, and then you give them the second piece that has the pill in it, and they don't even pay attention to it, which is great. So and sometimes you got to change up what the meat is. The hardest one to ever do was Chloe, one of our snow leopards, because their nares, their nostrils, are so large because they're built for living in the Himalayas where there's no oxygen. So that allows them to bring in as much oxygen as they can, so they could smell everything. So we just had to keep using the fishiest fish we could find. And she was on meds for 6 months, so it was super fun.
Wow.
Yeah, she had kidney stones. She actually had lithotripsy. She was the first cat snow leopard ever to have that. You can actually find that on our website, probably under Chloe.
Most likely.
Might be part of her bio, I'm not sure. But it was really interesting. Gave her I think 2 more years or so, something like that.
Gonna retry that piece.
Yeah, we're gonna try it.
Let's go slower this time.
Let's actually.
Now he's gonna do it, yeah, the right way. Yeah, he wanted to eat and growl at the same time, and he just took it all down.
Sort of like when you breathe and sip at the same time and it goes down the wrong tube.
Yep. I choked on water randomly last week, and that is the worst.
It is. And then it makes you not want to drink any more water, which you really need to do.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of what you need to do. All right, guys. Well, good job, bud.
Good job, handsome.
Mr. Man. Go lay in your pool now.
Good job,
All right. So nope, out of the 3 when it comes to food. It's actually, in order, it would be Max, then Kimba, then Simba. When it comes to food. Yeah. Maxie is really adjusted well, which is insane because he's the one
that had the hardest time.
Yeah, he would not come out of the transport. So,
yeah. I was talking with Jan and Tim when we were waiting, and they said at one of the airports, I think he was a Guatemalan, something happened and he just like shut down. And there was a noise that nobody else really paid attention to, not even the other 2 tigers.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we're not actually sure what the noise was, but we know that it happened there.
Right.
And so sometimes
scary.
Some cats don't travel well. Some don't adjust well to new surroundings.
Right.
Some are like, oh, what is this? Let's check it out. And others, it takes months.
Exactly.
Freckles the liger, when she came, it took us, I think, 4 months for her to adjust, and so we couldn't take any tours near her or anything like that. So she was on the main tour path, which was super fun.
Aww.
Well, not the main. She was on Tiger Road.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did that for Max for a little while too. Yeah, he was the one that just didn't want to tolerate it. Yes.
Stinking up Sapphire's cage.
All right, guys. So we are approaching our last cat for the feeding tour today with Honey. And you guys, I'm sure, remember from last Thursday when we announced that our most recent witness protection tiger, Miss Aria, is now a permanent resident here. And so we are going to feature her this morning for the feeding tour. I believe they closed that raised one there. Yeah.
I think she's the only one that can actually fit in that den.
Yeah, she really likes it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's usually the one I have to call her out of for evening meds.
Oh, you know what? You can just go, because I don't want you stinging anybody if you're mad.
The hornet found, but bee found its way back in.
There you go. Good job, buddy. Well, I can see somebody like wadding it up the front way and get stung.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mainly me, because I would forget who's in there.
Hi, baby girl. Hi, Miss Aria. Hi, pumpkins. All right, we didn't forget you. You got to come all the way around. So you can see her little wound on her back leg. That's the best it's ever looked. She's been here since this past September. She actually came in just a few days before our way station cats. So when Shiloh and Tom Tom, Filmo, and Mouser arrived, Miss Aria was already here. What a good girl. You're so perfect. I know, honeys. I know, honeys. So she is officially a permanent resident here. She's getting pretty much like what everybody else got today. A lot of chicken drums and pieces of red meat and her mush, her vegetables, which she really likes. That's always important. Yep. So like all of our big cats here, we make sure that the lockout door is down until we're officially ready. And so Honey will have to open that door and hook it to the pole that's off the side. It's a very good job. Good job, Honey. So Aria doesn't get quite as much food as the boys, but she's still around like 10 to 12 pounds, I think.
That's still quite good.
We had to reduce her diet a little bit after she had spent so much time in the recovery hospital cage because she was having no activity whatsoever there. So we did not want her to get, you know, too overweight. So, but now that she's out in her really large enclosure next to Amanda, we've been able to up her diet again.
Yeah. She's one of these rare cats who has been through the worst.
So much.
And is still super duper sweet about it. You know, if you guys have checked out her bio, you've probably seen her intake pictures. She was, I don't think they did an initial exam and sedation because I don't think she was healthy enough. And she had these huge open wounds because the lady who had been, who had owned her, I won't say caring for her because there was no caring going on, did not have her see the vet ever. And so she's had these really open wounds where you could see things you should not be able to see. And so we had her in our outdoor hospital cage, and that one does have a concrete floor. It's basically for cats that are recovering from surgery that can't be on dirt, so it can't get infected, things like that. So she had to stay there quite a long time. She was so cute and liked everybody so much. We had to actually ask our senior keepers and our master keepers not to go over there and say hi, because every time she'd get up, she kind of reopened the wounds, and so that wasn't good. So we were like, nope, we get it. And she got to heal, and then once she got enough meds on board and just some rest and relaxation and all the pampering she could possibly get, she was healthy enough to go outside, and so that was really, really exciting for us. If you see a side shot, I do kind of love that she has kind of twisted stripes on her hips, because when Dr. Justin closed the wounds, they kind of twisted the stripes a little bit, and so when they healed, they kind of healed that way. But it's a good reminder of what this cat went through. So nobody should ever have to go through that.
This might be my best opportunity to show them, so we'll just try to show you her back hips. So it's okay, baby.
Basically, she had
good job, honey. You're right, honey. I know.
So basically,
she had good views.
Bed sores, for lack of better terminology.
Yes, yeah, and urine stain.
And urine stain, all of that, and so it's just very uncomfortable, just gross neglect.
Good job, honey. And, let's show this side.
We weren't actually sure she was going to survive. So
no.
Our vet team, kudos to them. They're amazing. Dr. Wynn and Dr. Justin, and the staff and all the volunteers.
Good job, honey.
Getting her meds and everything else, and making sure everything was cleaned. And
yes, she is still on meds. They're asking if she's still on meds, but
she's on what are you on? You're on gabapentin.
Yep.
It's a pain management is what, so, and she'll probably have that the rest of her life. Just because she couldn't use those legs really well. I'm sure her joints are atrophied, her muscles are atrophied, they're probably stiff when she gets up, things like that. So it's just really, you know, she's old. She's what, 19?
They didn't have any kind of exact, and I think that their best guesstimation is between 14 and 16.
She's got to be, if she's not a teenager, then it really is gross neglect because of how bad her teeth were and all of that too. So usually that doesn't happen until they're teenagers. I'm guessing she didn't get a very good diet if this woman didn't get her vet care at all. So, you know, we can only reverse to a point, and then it's just maintenance from that point on.
Absolutely.
So we really are a geriatric cat facility. We're kind of like people that do hospice. It never changes for them. They're a very special breed of people because they're always going to lose their patients, but they do the most comforting thing they can for them for the rest of their lives, and we do the same thing for our cats.
Absolutely.
So we try to enrich them, try to keep them comfortable, you know, try to keep them happy. Well, as happy as they can be in captivity.
Cages,
But like I said, she chuffs at everybody. We had a cat named Simba Tiger, another Simba Tiger, and she chuffed so much we nicknamed her Chuffers. She actually kind of reminds me of her with how chuffy she is. So Chuffers stuck for a long time. We might have to resurrect it for you, sweet pea. Get all the crumbs. You did a good job.
Every piece.
And you can actually sometimes tell cats that are declawed, just how their feet look wrong. She looks like she has her back claws, but not her front ones.
Yeah, in her
yep,
procedure, I was feeling around. Her front ones are done so terribly, too, that you have these weird little knots in between each toe.
I believe it.
So, yeah, it was such a shame. When I was part of her first procedure, when Dr. Justin just really wasn't sure there was anything we could do, but he was going to try it, I took photos of every scar, because I was documenting it for Carol. And I took photos of everything in her mouth, her ears, her feet, and I drove home. I have a 45-minute drive home, and I sobbed uncontrollably the whole way home.
So you can see she had wounds on her shoulders too, both shoulders.
Oh my.
That was an interesting burp.
What was that? That was very silly.
And so it's sort of like when dogs lay on concrete, they get like almost like a leathering effect on their elbows. Same kind of thing where her wounds were. Oh, you got hiccups now?
I think so. That last piece went down weird.
You do.
She's also got the scars on her nose too.
Yeah, a lot of them, they'll rub their faces on the cages and things like that. We've had other cats have that.
You get
and
hiccups.
it just rubs all the fur, and the fur eventually stops growing.
Yeah,
for whatever reason. But you are a healthy girl today, aren't you?
Oh,
you
my.
do have the hiccups.
She does have the hiccups.
Goodness.
Here, let's get another view of your beautiful face real quick. Hi, honeys. Oh,
What was that?
yeah. What
So
was
what's
that
really
noise?
fun and interesting is she's right next door to Amanda.
Yes.
And in her bio, I know it says this, but her and Amanda have been kind of spending some time next to each other. So I think that's really good and exciting. Maybe she's a comforting, calming presence
I think
in Amanda's
so.
life.
Sort of. Yeah, I think it goes both ways for them. It's pretty amazing. Well, thank you guys very much to the 12 of you that donated. If you want to learn about Aria, go to bigcatrescue.org/Aria, A-R-I-A. I know we didn't spell it like Game of Thrones, but we did that on purpose. We want her to be unique. It is pronounced that way, though. So
How did she do?
she did very good.
She has hiccups now.
Yeah,
but
she does
did
have
great.
hiccups.
Did you eat
but-
too fast?
A little
Did
bit.
you eat too fast?
I got fun hiccups. They're like
Did
extra.
you eat too fast? Hi, sweet girl. Hi, my
No.
sweet girl.
Yes.
Hi, my sweet girl.
How did you feel, Catherine, with the news on Thursday?
Excited. Doing happy dances and crying at the same time.
Good. It's pretty wonderful.
My little girl.
She's so special.
My little girl's all grown up.
She can be on the internet now.
She can be on the internet now.
Break the internet now.
She is. She's so pretty.
Aw, you
So
are.
pretty.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us today. Thank you for all the donations and all the shares and all the kind feedback for Honey. Thank you, Honey. We appreciate ya.
I'm smiling.
Yes, she has a face where she can smile. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys on the next live.